Ain't nobody got time for shriveled up pseudobulbs. Nope, not here. How the crap did I get all that water in the leaves? Shoot. I finally matched my orchids. Ooh, that was fun. You know, I think if I were going to grade my Cattleya growing habits this last year, my last growing season, this past summer that is, I think I'd have to give myself a C or a C+. I mean, have a look at that. That's just terrible. This poor thing is completely and totally sunburned. Many of these guys are just so wrinkly that I'm embarrassed to even show them. But everything isn't always sunshines and rainbows, so need to point out our flaws to help better ourselves and each other. So I figured, why not talk about where I went wrong and my failures. I don't really even know where to begin, to be honest. Well, yes, I do. For starters, I didn't give them enough sun. And then when they did get enough sun, they got too much sun. Well, some of them. This particular Cattleya down here, this is the Wyanmo Leopard Ching-Hua, I believe. Yeah. And, for me, I don't know what other people think about this particular Cattleya. Beautiful flowers, but it is one finicky and sensitive. I love it, but she's really, really picky with her growing conditions, or his. I don't know my Cattleya's preferred gender pronoun. So they weren't getting as much sun as I thought they were. The tree I keep these under really grew a lot and shaded them more than I think I really realized. It wasn't until probably early August that I thought, you know what? I don't think these guys are getting enough sun. I should really probably move them. And so I did. I moved them, and that helped, but, you know, at that time of year, I moved them too quick, some of them, like this one right here, which actually, this one was getting plenty of sun. It's just a finicky little butthead. But some of the others, like this one down here, the Turner's Ace, I received this one, it wasn't looking too good as it is. It just has a nasty growth shape to it, and I kind of overpotted it to hopefully correct that shape. But that doesn't work if you leave it in the shade. They're not gonna grow properly. It did still grow. It put out 4 or 5 new growths, and it even has a new one coming up. It's been very vigorous, but this is not what a healthy Cattleya should look like. One up here, this isn't terrible. It's got a nice new growth. A little heavy on the purple, that, you know, some Cattleyas do get purple in them when they receive the right amount of sun. Purpling can also be magnesium deficiencies, so I go back and forth as to whether or not this is a good color or a bad color. Let me know what you think. I am currently watering everything with a calcium magnesium supplement, which I do all winter. So even if it is a deficiency, it's going to work out just fine. I'll take a deficiency over an infection any day, because it's so much easier to fix a deficiency if you catch it soon enough. But just about all of them do have some nice, healthy, new root tips growing, which is a sign that I suppose that they're happy. But I generally like to see much more plump pseudobulbs. There was, I think, maybe an ant infestation that I didn't recognize because it was happening in the pots. Because when I went to repot some of these or move them into these clear pots, there was like an orange gel, a gelatinous goop in the roots, and I haven't really been able to figure out what that was. The closest thing I can find on the internet is things that suggest maybe it's like a byproduct from sugar ants, which aren't super harmful sugar ants, but it's not ideal to have an infestation to a point where you have giant balls of this gelatinous mess in them. So this pseudobulb is a little bit more plump, but they should be smooth, you know? See how these are smooth? Not getting that here. And I'm not going to super increase their watering right now because, one, the temperatures are too cool. It's about 55, 60 degrees in here, and I need to get drainage dishes hooked up under these. Whenever I've been watering these, for the most part, I'm having to take them out and water them because I don't want the water running down to their crowns. I don't worry about that on the other side of my grow space as much because there's a lot of ventilation and the fans are running and the heaters are over there. It's a little bit warmer. Over here, I have a very gentle airflow that I do not think is enough to really combat any rot or fungus that would form from water dripping in there and transmission of disease. I wouldn't want to get fusarium. It probably already have it in some of these. So that's just an even better reason to not let them share too much water. But despite my failure, I don't know if it's failure. I think death would be failure. And even then, is that really failure? Because it just happens, and this is how we learn sometimes. I'm getting some sheaths inside several of them. So they're happy in some ways. Got some nice root tips going on down there. So I think that, they'll be okay. There's no irreversible damage done. It's just a shame to look back on this past growing season and think, man, I could have done so much better, that I had more potential. These things could have grown better. But it is what it is. I'm going to now have this information for next year to not put them in their old spot. I need to find a new location that can accommodate them better as far as sunlight goes to help them grow better, more uniform growth. And then to step up my watering. Some of these were in sphagnum. They came in sphagnum moss, and I hadn't repotted them. And then I repotted them because I don't like Cattleyas in sphagnum. Some people grow them fine like that. I keep my orchids outdoors during the spring, summer, and early fall. This year, mid to late fall, actually. It was a warm fall. And it rains. I can't always control how much water they get, so the sphagnum doesn't really work for me with Cattleyas. But I don't know. If anybody has any advice on how to plump these guys up without soaking them or rotting them, I always appreciate any type of feedback I can get. That's part of the fun of having a community. People who are passionate about things. And, I know just because there's some wrinkles here, it doesn't mean that they're unhealthy necessarily. But I just love a Cattleya with nice, thick, smooth bulbs. Like Roger Frampton. His Cattleyas just look wonderful. Really thick and full and smooth. And those are the signs of a healthy orchid. Why I want to keep them healthy. That's the point. But I'm almost out of memory, so happy gardening, everybody, and have a great day.